talk about three huge reasons you panic when you don't get that text back. Let's talk about what's really going on because you are wanting so much more than the text. Let's talk about what the text actually is symbolizing and what it means for you, what it means for your nervous system, what it means for the part of you that cannot relax until you get that text back. The first thing that I want to talk about is you feel unsafe, right? You feel like this person is pulling away. I don't feel connected to them. I'm panicking. I'm spiraling. I'm wondering, how do I get them back? I'm wondering what I've done wrong. And if I could just get their attention, if I could just get them to come back, then I would be able to just relax. If that's what's going on for you, this is a sign that your ability to feel secure, your emotional security has been outsourced. It is dependent on this other person coming back, texting you, calling you, their presence, right? It's dependent on them. Your ability to feel calm, at ease, relaxed is dependent on them. Your ability to feel safe and secure really at the core is dependent on them. So when you haven't gotten the text back, when they haven't called you when they said they were going to call, you're panicking because you don't feel safe. Your nervous system doesn't feel safe. And if you grew up in a home where your parents were sometimes present and available for you and sometimes they weren't, this sort of inconsistency breeds anxiety, which often leads to that anxious attachment style. And so if we grow up in homes where are we sure that our parent is going to be there for us or not? We don't know. This is then going to cause us to be hyper vigilant to people being distant, people not responding to text messages. Because as kids, if a parent was emotionally absent, physically absent, if they sometimes met your needs and then sometimes didn't, this is sending the message that I can't trust and rely on you to be there for me when I need you. And I don't feel really wholly secure and safe with you in this relationship because I don't know when you're going to be here. And so that core wound forms. And so in a adult relationship, when someone is pulling away or not responding, you don't get that text back, that same core wound is getting activated, it's getting triggered because that experience in adulthood is reminding your nervous system of how unsafe it felt to have distance or space as a child. So the same old wound is getting activated all over again. So you're not crazy. Your nervous system is literally just perceiving a threat. Your nervous system is alerting to you that there is this panic, this threat to your safety. And so that's why you're freaking out. And the best thing that you can start to do now is to start to teach your nervous system that space and distance and someone not responding to a text is not a sign of danger. That is what your nervous system is perceiving. And it is our job now in adulthood to help our nervous system see that there is no threat to our safety when someone pulls away. That is your power now to show your system that there is no threat anymore. When someone pulls away, when someone is unable to meet your needs, unlike as a child, you now have the ability to be there for yourself and take care of yourself, unlike you did long ago. So, the second reason that you panic and freak out when someone is not responding to the text, when there's that silence, when there's that space, is a feeling of my needs are going to go unmet. If I don't have this person around, if I'm not in relationship with them, then I am subconsciously, because of that attachment history, I subconsciously believe that without this other person, I'm not going to be able to feel safe. I'm not going to be able to get my needs met. I'm not going to be able to get comfort. I'm not going to be able to get my needs to feel seen, to feel heard, to feel understood, to feel worthy, to feel loved, to feel connection. Whatever needs you have placed in this other person's hands, right? Subconsciously, we don't do this consciously, but when we're anxiously attached, we are walking around with this subconscious belief that only through other people can I get my needs met. And I'm kind of beholden and dependent on this one person, partner, just like we were long ago with a parent. I'm dependent on this one person for my needs. And so when that one person begins to pull away, subconsciously our nervous system is panicking because we're like, oh my gosh, if they pull away, I'm not going to be able to get all my needs met. And it is, again, our power as adults to help our nervous system see actually, even if this person pulls away, I can still get my needs met. I can be the one in control of getting my needs met, either internally through myself, or I can seek externally. I can seek healthy, available relationships. I can seek community. I can seek people who have shown me that they have the ability and the capacity to meet my needs. I'm the one in control of getting my needs met. I'm not dependent on this other person. I'm not just out here floating around with nowhere to land if I don't hear back from this person. I am a competent adult who is able to get my needs met. But your nervous system doesn't believe that yet. If you find yourself panicking when you don't get that text back, when there is space, when they take hours to respond, and you find yourself spiraling and wondering what you did wrong and second guessing everything and wondering what you should do. Should I send the text? Should I not send the text? We're just looping and looping and ruminating. And this is not for no reason. And I just want to validate that. Your nervous system is triggered. Your nervous system has been conditioned to seek regulation and to seek calm and to seek a sense of security from someone else. And part of healing anxious attachment is helping our nervous system tune inward and helping our inner child and our subconscious mind and all of these parts of ourselves that are so used to outsourcing and seeking outside of ourselves for a sense of regulation and security. Now it's, I can seek myself for a degree of safety and security. Now, this isn't to say that we can't seek other people for security, validation, reassurance, comfort. Yes, we are humans designed to bond and connect and relate to other people. And I want you to have the ability to also be able to give yourself a degree of regulation, soothing, comfort that is not dependent on that one person who keeps taking days or hours just too long to respond to you. So, the third reason that we panic when we don't get that text back, when someone is being distant or inconsistent or hot and cold, is this absence, this unavailability, this space is triggering a very old wound. And that wound is, I'm not enough. I'm unworthy. I am not important. And this, people don't want to talk about this, right? It's easier to focus all of our external energy and attention on the other person. What are they doing? Where are they? How do I get their attention back, right? All of that rumination and focus on them allows us to ignore what's going on within. And what's going on within is what you're feeling, which is unworthiness. I'm not important. I'm not enough. Because if I was, they would text me back, right? That's the subconscious belief that is buried deep in our nervous system that we don't even want to touch or acknowledge. I didn't ever acknowledge that. I didn't even know that was there until I began my healing journey and got more into this process. I had no idea that every time there was space or absence or distance from somebody else, that what was really getting triggered for me and the reason I was panicking was that my unworthiness wound was getting triggered. And why would that be? As a child, all we want is presence and availability from our parent or caregiver. And if you find yourself in a home where your parents or caregiver is, pretty consistently absent, emotionally unavailable, for whatever reason, because I have so many clients who say, Erica, I didn't really have any sort of trauma in my childhood. I had two parents, there was dinner every night, they took me to soccer practice, whatever it is. But when we start peeling back the layers, so many of my clients start to see that there was a degree of emotional absence. There was a degree of misattunement to my client's needs, right? Just because your parents are physically present in the home doesn't mean that they are emotionally available and attuning to you and able to meet your needs. And so when a child's needs go consistently unmet, for example, every time that I cry or I'm upset, I'm told, you're overreacting. You're fine. Just go to your room. It's okay. Whenever that happens on a consistent basis, um, what the child is starting to understand and believe about themselves is that my emotional experience is not important. I am not important. This part of me is not worthy or deserving of being heard, right? And on an even deeper level, or a more, overt experience would be a parent who is just completely emotionally unavailable or physically absent often, right? A parent being unavailable to a child creates a sense of threat. And so a child has to try to navigate this to the best of their ability, given their limited skills. And as a kid, we don't automatically think, well, something is wrong with mom or dad or caregiver. Something's wrong with them. And the reason that they're unavailable, is X, Y, and Z, and it's this rational thing. We don't do that as children because it is too threatening to think that something is wrong with my parent because I'm dependent on them to survive. So as kids, we automatically assume, well, I must be at fault here. There must be something wrong with me. There must be a reason uh, that mom or dad or whoever isn't paying attention to me or emotionally available for me and able to meet my needs. I must be the problem. I must be not enough. I must not be important. That's this kind of very simple, one sentence statement as kids. We don't have a prefrontal cortex that's fully developed. We come up with these very simplistic beliefs that become core beliefs that become the framework through which we see ourselves. They become a part of our identity. Something like, I'm not enough, I'm not important. And so when someone in our adult life is again unavailable, unwilling to meet our needs, absent, we find ourselves getting that same wound from long ago triggered because it's reminding your nervous system of that same old pain and that same old experience. And the last thing we want to do is to experience another relationship that is reminding us of this core fear, this core belief. And so we don't acknowledge that we don't feel enough. No, we don't do that. We just focus on, how do I get them back? How do I get their attention? How do I get them to come back and make me feel as though I am enough and worthy? Because subconsciously I feel and believe that only through them can I feel enough and worthy. And so these are really three core reasons why you panic when you don't get that text back. It's not about just getting that blip of reassurance. Those are three deep reasons why we panic. But the sooner we can recognize that that's what's really going on, right? The sooner that we can realize that we've outsourced our safety to somebody else, the sooner we can realize that we have put our ability to feel like our needs can be fulfilled in somebody else's hands instead of realizing that we are the ones in control of getting our needs met. And the sooner that we can realize that we were born worthy and enough just as we are, we were just conditioned to believe otherwise because of certain experiences. The sooner we realize these three things, we then have the power to heal these three patterns and start to feel more secure within ourselves, regardless of what other people do or don't do. So I hope that this has been helpful. Again, I have a membership called the Secure Collective where we meet every month to dive deeper into these topics and get your questions answered. And I will leave you with a reminder: when their energy shifts, your security doesn't have to. That is my mission. So until next time, I will see you soon.